Welcome to the Thea Lee podcast. It is January 18th, 2026, and we are on day 18 of our reading through the Bible. Today we talk about Jacob's death. He lived 17 years after his arrival in Egypt. He lived a total of 147 years. As the time of his death drew near, he called for his son Joseph and told him to please do him a favor, to place his hand under his thigh and swear that he would treat him with unfailing love and honor his last request. Do not bury me in Egypt. Please take my body out of Egypt and bury me with my ancestors. So Joseph promised that he would do so. One day not long after this, word came to Joseph that his father was failing rapidly. So Joseph went to visit his father and took along his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. When Jacob was told that his son was there, he took all of his strength and sat up in bed. Jacob said to Joseph, God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. He said to me, I will make you fruitful and I will multiply your descendants. I will make you a multitude of nations, and I will give this land of Canaan to your descendants after you as an everlasting possession. Now I am claiming as my sons these two boys of yours, Ephraim and Manasseh. They will be my sons just as Reuben and Simeon are. Then any children born to you after this will be your own, and they will inherit land in the territories of their brothers Ephraim and Manasseh. Then Jacob looked over at his boys. Are these your sons? He asked, and Joseph brought them closer to him so that his dad could bless them. Jacob was half blind at this time because of his age, so Joseph brought the boys close to him. Jacob kissed and embraced them. Then Jacob said to Joseph, I never thought I would see your face again, but now God has let me see your children too. Joseph moved the boys, who were at their grandfather's knees, and he bowed with his face to the ground. Then he positioned the boys in front of Jacob. With his right hand he directed Ephraim toward Jacob's left hand, and with his left hand he put Manasseh at Jacob's right hand. But Jacob crossed his arms as he reached out to lay his hands on the boys' heads. He put his right hand on the head of Ephraim, though he was the younger boy, and his left hand on the head of Manasseh, though he was the firstborn. Then he blessed Joseph and said, May the God before whom my grandfather Abraham and my father Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this very day, the angel who has redeemed me from all harm, may he bless these boys, may they preserve my name and the names of Abraham and Isaac, and may their descendants multiply greatly throughout the earth. But Joseph was really upset when he saw that his father had placed his right hand on Ephraim's head. So Joseph lifted his hand to try and change it. No, my father, he said, this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused. I know, my son, I know. Manasseh will also be a great people, but his younger brother will become even greater, and his descendants will become a multitude of nations. So Jacob blessed the boys that day with his blessing. The people of Israel will use your names when they give a blessing, and they will say, May God make you as prosperous as Ephraim and Manasseh. In this way, Jacob put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Then Jacob said to Joseph, Look, I am about to die, but God will be with you and will take you back to Canaan, the land of your ancestors. And beyond what I have given your brothers, I am giving you an extra portion of the land that I took from the Amorites with my sword and bow. Then Jacob called together all of his sons and said, Gather around me, and I will tell you what will happen to each one of you in the days to come. So he goes on and blesses each of his 12 sons and gives them a specific blessing as to what would be their future. These were the 12 tribes of Israel. Then Jacob instructed them, Soon I will die and join my ancestors. Bury me with my father and grandfather. There Abraham and his wife Sarah are buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah are buried. And there I buried Leah. When Jacob finished this charge to his sons, he drew his feet into the bed, breathed his last, and joined his ancestors in death. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then he told the physicians who served him to embalm his father's body. The embalming process took the usual 40 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached the Pharaoh's advisors and asked for them to please speak to the Pharaoh on his behalf and say that he would like to take his father back to be buried. The Pharaoh agreed, so Joseph went to bury his father, and he was accompanied by all of the Pharaoh's officials, all of the senior members of the Pharaoh's household, and all of the senior officers of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household, his brothers, and their households, but they left their little children in flocks and herds in the land of Goshen. So a great number of chariots accompanied Joseph. When they arrived to bury his father, they held a very great and solemn memorial service with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father, and for this reason that place was renamed, because they said, "This is a place of deep mourning for these Egyptians." After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had accompanied them. But now his brothers are afraid because their father is gone, and so they're afraid that Joseph will now be mean to them. So really they lied, and they sent a message to Joseph and said, "Before your father died, he instructed us to say to you, 'Please forgive your brothers for the great wrong that they did to you, for their sin in treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of God, your father, beg you to forgive our sin.'" When Joseph received this message, he wept. And then his brothers came and threw themselves down before him and said, "Look, we are your slaves." But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God? Can I punish you? What you did intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. No, don't be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by being kind to them. So Joseph and his brothers and their families continued to live in Egypt. Joseph lived until he was 110 years old. He lived to see 3 generations of descendants from his son Ephraim, and he lived to see the birth of the children of Manasseh's son, Machir, whom he claimed as his own. "Soon I will die," he told his brothers, "but God will surely come to help you and lead you out of this land of Egypt. He will bring you back to the land we solemnly promised to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob." Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear an oath, and he said, "When God comes to help you and lead you back, you must take my bones with you." So Joseph died at the age of 110, and he was embalmed, and his body was placed in a coffin in Egypt. So today we see that God is continuing to bless these generations, that he is continuing the promises that he gave way back to Abraham. And we also see, again, that the blessing to a certain pair of sons is switched from the oldest son, who usually gets the large amount of the blessing, is given to the younger son. And I suppose that's because God is the only one who can see into the future and understand how that blessing needs to go. Thank you for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.